He's now with ENLAWYERS, but Jeremy, as we were talking, you've been on both sides of the courtroom. You worked in the city state's attorney's office. Starting with Friday's announcement, were you caught off guard? Were you surprised that that the city state's attorney was already in the midst of her own independent investigation?
I think it was a big surprise to everyone, especially given the fact that the day before there was a press release from that office stating that they didn't want to put a hard timeline and that it could take up to a month. So it really was a big surprise. I mean, even the police commander from the Baltimore City Police Department, who was in charge of the investigation, received a phone call Friday morning telling him that charges had been filed, and he was charged with being responsible for the entire investigation. So it seems like a giant surprise to everyone involved with the investigation and those in the community.
A lot of folks, certainly the FOP being the most notable, called Friday's announcement a series of overcharges, that essentially maybe there's some overreach there. Your take? You've been on both sides. What was your thought as you looked at the list of charges against these 6 officers?
Well, it's undeniable that there's increasing societal pressure for the Office of the State's Attorney to take action, for the police department to take action on behalf of what's going on in our city. The problem is, as lawyers and as a former prosecutor, we can't make these decisions on emotion. We can't make these decisions on assumption. We have to make them on fact. So I would hope to believe, I would like to believe, that the investigation was thoroughly conducted and it was finalized before these charges came to light. You know, one of the issues, and I think Alan Dershowitz, professor at Harvard, and one of the great legal minds that we have in America, really came out talking about how it seems rushed, it seems overcharged, and I think we really need to get some of the facts and see how this shakes out at trial before we're able to see if this is overcharged.
And of course, there's still an independent investigation going on by the DOJ, so we presume that there will be more information that comes out of that. But this is, of course, just a first step in a very, very lengthy process. One of the steps within that process that has come up over the last couple of days is the change of venue request that we will likely expect to see if there's a grand jury indictment and kind of as it goes through the next steps of this case. What's your take on change of venue? Is that going to go through? It's
seemingly a guarantee, at least that the motion will be filed. I mean, all of the politicians, our mayor, the state's attorney, has all but condemned these 6 officers. You know, the cornerstone of our very legal system is the presumption of innocence. And I've watched detectives that I'm friends with become defense attorneys and ask for patience, and I've watched defense attorneys now wanting to condemn the officers. The very irony of watching everyone's perspectives change is very interesting to observe, but the bottom line is the very essence of our legal system has almost been erased as these ladies and gentlemen who serve our community have been almost condemned. I mean, the problem is, can they receive a fair trial? And that's going to be something that lawyers are going to be ardently fighting for in court.